The ageless Jaromir Jagr of the New Jersey Devils, 716 career goals. 22 years his junior, All-Star Zemgus Girgensons of the Buffalo Sabres.
They score!
We welcome you to Newark, New Jersey. 21 degrees, snow on the ground outside. Inside the Prudential Center, the New Jersey Devils and the Buffalo Sabres. Good evening, everybody. Kenny Albert with Joe Micheletti downstairs. The NHL trade deadline is less than 2 weeks away, but the Buffalo Sabres already made a big splash last Wednesday, a 7-player deal with the Winnipeg Jets. And Joe, on Sunday, Zach Bogosian made his Sabres debut and made a major impact for Buffalo.
Yeah, he really did, Kenny. Here's a 24-year-old player that's in his 7th season in the National Hockey League. He's been playing since age 18. He's 6'3", 225 pounds. He played the power play. He killed penalties, played a regular shift, almost 25 minutes, and that included 11 hits in that game. Meanwhile, you've got a 20-year-old in Zemgus Girgensons, who is the epitome of what the Buffalo Sabres want in young players. He is a future captain. He leads them in goal scoring. He does everything he's asked of. And again, this is just his 2nd year, but a rising star for the Buffalo Sabres.
Tonight, Bogosian, Girgensons, and the Sabres take on the New Jersey Devils. Now, for 2 decades, it was Martin Brodeur between the pipes for New Jersey, but Corey Schneider is now the Devils' #1 goaltender, acquired prior to last season. He's a workhorse. He's only 28 years of age. He's the goalie of the present and the future here in New Jersey.
Kenny, this is a seamless transaction for Corey Schneider. He played the first 20 games of the season, which set a record. He gives them an absolute chance to win every night because of plays like this. This Devils team has trouble getting shots on goal. They have trouble scoring goals, but they have a chance to win every game because of the outstanding play of Corey Schneider.
It's the Devils and the Sabres meeting for the 2nd time this season. Scott Gomez is back in New Jersey. The Veterans Center will chat with Joe when we return to Newark. The NHL on NBCSN is brought to you by Honda, official vehicle of the National Hockey League, and by America's Navy. Back in Newark, Kenny Albert, Joe Micheletti. Devils won the first matchup with the Sabres this season, 4-1, early last month. 2nd stint as a New Jersey Devil for Scott Gomez. He's with Joe.
Okay, Kenny, thanks very much. Your career has been revitalized, where you're the top forward on this Devils team. What's been the major factor?
Well, just having fun playing hockey again. The game plan, I know how to play, and they put me in a situation where, it's fun again. I know how to pass the puck, and I'm playing with great players. And life's not always easy, but it's good to be back.
Thanks for your time. Good luck to you.
I'd like to say hi to everyone in Anchorage, Alaska.
Kenny.
Thanks, Joe. The Anchorage native, Scott Gomez, getting set to take on the Buffalo Sabres. The opening face-off when we return to the Prudential Center in Newark. Let's take a look at the numbers for our starting goaltenders, presented by Honda. For the Sabres, out of the Czech Republic, 26-year-old Michael Neuvert. He has lost his last 10 decisions. And for the New Jersey Devils, the Massachusetts native, out of Boston College, 28-year-old Corey Schneider, his league-leading 49th start this season. Mike Camilleri, Devils' leading goal scorer, will start the game with Travis Zajac and Jordan Tutu. For the Buffalo Sabres, it'll be Torrey Mitchell, Matt Molson, Brian Giunta up front, Benoit and Bogosian on the blue line.
Kenny, you talk about a player like Zach Bogosian. He grew up 5 hours from Buffalo, and he is absolutely thrilled and excited to now be a part of this franchise.
And Joe, the first NHL game he ever attended at the age of 8 was a Sabres game in Buffalo. The officials, Dave Jackson, Mark Lemelin, the referees, the linesman John Grant, and Matt McPherson. Devils have lost 4 straight after a 5-0-1 stretch. Sabres have lost 3 in a row. Torrey Mitchell retrieves for the Sabres. 2-2, works it free for the Devils. Out to the point, shot by Eric Jelena, blocked in front. Zajac to the puck for New Jersey.
Bogosian hurt. That hit him in the hand.
Peter Harold sends in deep. Camilleri out in front. 2-2 off the side of the net. Bogosian still on the ice, Joe, with the puck in the Sabres zone.
Yeah, now he takes off his glove. He takes a quick look at his fingers and puts his glove back on.
Zajac once again, centering pass, could not connect with Camilleri. And it is Brian Giunta, the ex-Devil, the Sabres captain. Both teams make changes as Benoit shoots the puck in. Fritz Stewart just off the bench. This is Zemgus Girgensons, met by Adam Henrique. Puck played by Peter Harold with just over 1 minute gone by in period 1. Patrick Elias backhands into the Buffalo zone. Ristolainen tied up by Henrique. Girgensons up the boards for Tyler Ennis. Ennis, number 63, leading scorer for the Sabres this season with 31 points. Young defense pairing, Joe, Ristolainen and Zadorov for Buffalo.
One's 19, Kenny. The other one's 20. And the sky is the limit for these 2 kids.
Ristolainen's shot is blocked, deflects out of play.
So the early shot, the first shot that gets to the net, you see Camilleri trying to get in front, and 47 is Bogosian. And you see him right there, kind of shaking his hand, his left hand. He had good position. He took off his glove once when he was on the ice. He got back, and then they checked him out. Seems to be okay.
Initially went to the bench, Joe, and it looks like he is headed down the runway to the Sabres locker room.
Maybe he's not okay. I mean, that hit him. Yeah, there he goes. There's not a lot of protection right on the end of the fingers of the gloves. There's plenty of protection on the outside, not much on the end, and it seemed to catch him right on the end of the glove.
So Bogosian, who played nearly 25 minutes in his Sabres debut, gets hit on the first shift as Jágr is knocked down by Weber. Jágr back on his skates with the puck. He turned 43 years of age on Sunday. Zidlitsky fires high. This is Scott Gomez. Gomez with Jágr and Tuomo Ruutu. Forward line for New Jersey. Jágr controls. Knocked off his stick. Marcus Foligno across to Nicolas Deslauriers. As both teams make changes. 2.5 gone. Period 1 here in Newark. Foligno with the puck. His father, Mike, is a Devils assistant coach and a longtime Buffalo Sabre. Puck played ahead by another ex-Sabre, Dainit Zubris.
And Kenny, he's one of those young players, Marcus Foligno, that just continues to improve. He's a big, strong kid. They've got him playing more physical on a game-by-game basis. Just back from an injury after missing 19 games.
Right, it's his 4th game back. With his dad watching from the other side. Johan Larsson with a shot, kicked out, left pad saved by Schneider. Larsson with the puck. Spins away from fellow countryman Jacob Josephson. Zadorov across, shot by Meszaros. Loose in front, and Josephson clears it out of trouble. Puck lifted out of play. Couple of chances, Joe, for the Sabres.
Yeah, there's Marcus Foligno. They were really impressed with him because in a game in December, their captain, Brian Giunta, took a high hit in Boston. And Marcus Foligno jumped in, got into a fight, broke his hand, had surgery, and then missed 19 games. And as we can see, good news for Buffalo. Bogosian back on the ice.
Back from the Sabres locker room, checked out by the medical staff. Sabres 2 shots, Devils have 1. Puck carried ahead by Matt Moulson. Schneider keeps it away from Torrey Mitchell. Deflected ahead for Mike Camilleri. Off the stick of Travis Zajac. Benoit up the boards. Moulson, Joe, only 1 goal in his last 22 games. Moulson out with Mitchell and Giunta. Adam Larsson back to retrieve for the Devils. Now Henrique behind the net for Andy Green. Now tied up along the boards by Giunta. The late penalty coming up. It's against Buffalo. Snyder to the New Jersey bench for an extra attacker. Henrique ahead for Green. 6 Devils on the ice. Touch is made by Meszaros. New Jersey with the game's first power play.
Now, Kenny, you're talking about goal scoring and lack thereof by the Buffalo Sabres as Brian Giunta, the captain, heads to the penalty box. Here it is. He got in quickly on Andy Green and got his stick on Green, spun him around a little bit. There's the easy call for the official behind the net. And so the early power play for the Devils.
It's presented by Kia Motors. Camilleri shoots, stick save by Neuvert. Battle for the puck behind the Sabres net. Jágr up front with Gomez and Bernier. Jelena and Camilleri on the points.
Jelena has the big shot.
Gomez, top of the left circle, off the stick of Bernier. Bogosian remains on the ice for the Sabres on this penalty kill. Gomez for Jágr. Deflects to the corner for Camilleri. Devils ranked 9th on the power play this season. The Sabres, Joe, are last in the league on the penalty kill.
Well, part of the problem, Kenny, and it goes back to what you were saying about lack of goal scoring by the wings of this Buffalo team. They have 4 centers that are not going to be the 4 centers of this Buffalo team in the near future. 3 of them are playing out of position. They're wings. And the other issue with that is that they lose a lot of faceoffs because they're just not used to taking faceoffs. So even on this power play to start, and Torrey Mitchell is one of those. He's played wing most of his career, but he's a center here in Buffalo right now. That's going to change in the next year or so, when they're going to have more centers and young centers in this lineup. But they lose faceoffs, and it allows the power play unit to gain control of the puck, and hence one of the problems with the penalty kill for Buffalo.
Under a minute remaining on the Giunta penalty. First power play of the game for New Jersey. Adam Henrique keeps it away from Andre Benoit. Zajac playing in his 600th game as a Devil tonight. Lines it around for Henrique. Now Patrick Elias. Marek Zidlicky. Zajac shoots, saved by Neuvert with 31 seconds remaining on the Devils' man advantage.
Now, pretty good opportunity for Zajac to take an earlier shot. He elected to wait, hold on, and then eventually he'll get one from the other side. Good puck movement by the Devils. Adam Oates is an absolute specialist on the power play. Hall of Famer, sits behind the bench for the Devils.
Puck cleared down ice by Matt Ellis. Patrick Elias back with 20 seconds remaining on the penalty. Now the steal by Ellis. Short-handed opportunity turned aside by Snyder. Ellis, Joe, has gone 54 games without a goal. Sabres, the lowest scoring team in the NHL. Elias with the pass, gathered in by Henrique. Out to the point, and Zidlicky shot, deflected, score! Patrick Elias!
What a wonderful setup from Zidlicky. Once they get control of the puck, Zidlicky's in the middle, and he fakes shot, and this is pass all the way. And Patrick Elias, the veteran who recently went over the 1,000-point mark in his career, soft hands, little redirection, and the goaltender Neuvert really didn't have a chance. That puck would have gone a good 5 feet wide, but a beautiful redirection by Elias.
Career goal number 402 for Patrick Elias, his 9th this season. Not a power play goal. The penalty had just expired. New Jersey Devils take a 1-0 lead on the Buffalo Sabres. Puck sent ahead by Tyler Ennis. Chris Stewart towards the net, blocked. Zadorov with the puck. Ennis bottled up by Larson. Devils clear.
And this is the best offensive line for Buffalo that's on the ice now. Bergenson, who just comes off the ice. Ennis on one side. Chris Stewart, who's played well as of late, on the other.
No icing as Snyder plays the puck. John Merrill up the left side. Carried ahead by Yager. Pass behind Route 2, gathered in by Weber. Elias from Zidlinsky and Henrique at 6:19 of period 1. John Merrill ahead for Scott Gomez. 3-on-2 for New Jersey. Route 2 for Yager. Yager carries in behind. Sets up Zidlinsky for a shot, and that's blocked by Torrey Mitchell. Puck came out of the zone. Devils offside. Patrick Elias with the game's first goal. We played nearly 8 minutes here in Newark. 1-0 Devils. The road to the Stadium Series starts on Epix, a 4-part all-access series with the Sharks and Kings. Tuesdays, 10, 9 Central. Watch live on Epix and NHL.com or anytime with a free trial on Epix.com. Patrick Elias with the game's first goal just as the New Jersey Devils power play had expired. Devils lead the Sabres 1-0. Puck kicked back behind the net by Bogosian. Flynn sends it ahead for Delorier. And now Foligno. Benoit down the left wing. Has his shot blocked by Harold. Delorier keeps it alive. Now Jelena for the Devils. The 6'4" defenseman up the right side for Travis Zajac. Deflected with a high stick. No goal. Waved off immediately by referee Mark Lemelin.
Yeah, there was no question about that one. Up high. Jelena actually having a little bit of a laugh. And you see it start coming down. And Neuvert looking. There it is again. Zajac just fires it up high. And no question, that was well over the height of the crossbar. Jelena tried to fake like he thought it was in, but by the time he skated back towards the bench, he had a nice laugh about it, and he still is.
I wonder if he ever played lacrosse, Joe. Oh, that stick up pretty high.
Yeah, he did. Excellent hand-eye coordination. So they do a quick check in Toronto just to make sure, and no question about that not being a goal. Jelena back in the lineup recently after being a healthy scratch for 6 consecutive games.
So the score remains 1-0 New Jersey as Cody Hodgson chips the puck in deep. Corey Schneider, his ex-teammate in Vancouver. Mike Weber back to play the puck. Nazaro spinning away from Steven Giunta, who returns tonight after missing the last 18 games with a broken hand. Steven Giunta, number 11 for New Jersey. Brother Brian, number 12, the captain of the Sabres. They grew up in Rochester, New York. Here's Zubris. Flips in around Mazaros. Two big bodies, Zubris and Weber. The smaller Steven Giunta looks to play the puck. And it's kept alive by Josephson. Has room, shoots, blocked in front. Deflected back behind the net for the defenseman, Zidlinsky in deep. Now Zubris off the stick of Giunta. Carried ahead by Ellis.
And Kenny, before Brian signed his 3-year contract with Buffalo, he did have discussions with Lou Lamoriello, the general manager and coach now of New Jersey, about a return to the Devils.
He spent 7 seasons here in New Jersey, did Brian Giunta, member of the 2003 Stanley Cup team. Never played with Steven in the National Hockey League. Elias for Bernier, and his shot is blocked by Zadorov. Green fires, that gets blocked as well. Larson racing back. Up the middle for Elias. And now Andy Green. Deflected ahead by Bernier for Adam Henrique. Henrique in front, and it's kept away from Bernier. Henrique with the puck again. Now Gergensons for Buffalo. Tied up by Elias. Henrique in the near corner out to Larson as we pass the midway point of period 1. Blocker save by Neuvert. Andy Green with a shot. Another save by Neuvert. And it's carried ahead by Ennis. And Zadorov shoots in. Puck deflects out of play. 9:43 on the clock. Period 1 in New Jersey. Devils by a goal. Tonight's coaches interview is presented by America's Navy. Here's Joe with Lou Lamoriello.
Lou, you're part of the coaching staff now, but being down here on the bench, how does that and how has it benefited you as a general manager?
Well, I think it's been great. I think that you see different things here than you see up top. You see the mannerisms, you see the attention to detail, you see their body language. There's a lot of things you see, and it's been very beneficial.
Thanks for your time, Lou. Good luck.
Thank you, Joe.
And Joe, when we spoke with Lou Lamoriello this morning, he told us all general managers should try it at some point.
Yeah, it's been interesting, Kenny, and the conversation, of course, the trade deadline a couple of weeks, so there's a lot of talk going on now between the general managers, and he's told a lot of them, you should get down there, you learn a lot.
Shot by Molson, smothered by Schneider. And he also compared it, Joe, to football and baseball. You have the head coach and then coordinators in football, pitching coaches in baseball. There's Scott Stevens on the left. He runs the defense, and Adam Oates on the right takes care of the forwards.
Yeah, you've got two Hall of Famers. And as Lou was mentioning this morning when we asked him how all this was working out, he's thrilled with the way it's working out because of the response from the players. But he said not only are these two players have knowledge and want to teach, but he said they have such big hearts in wanting to win. So you combine those two things. And this team, it's a 500 team since the coaching change was made in late December. And, there's no question. This is a team that needs more speed. They need to get younger up front. And but they've got an outstanding goaltender and a good group of young defensemen to build from.
Right. Puck deflects up into the Sabres bench. Devils' average age is 31 as a team. That's the oldest in the National Hockey League. But with regard to Scott Stevens and Adam Oates, Lou told us they have no egos. It could not have worked better to this point. It had to be with the right people. And then you also look at the other assistant coaches, Mike Foligno, Tommy Albaline, and the goalie coach, Chris Terreri. The 5 assistants played 5,348 games, Joe, in the NHL. They won 7 Stanley Cups combined, and Lou told us they all played a certain way.
And they're smart, Kenny. And again, the key is that they get along and they communicate with one another. And their goal remains the same as a group, to try and get this team better and to try and get these players to improve.
And as you mentioned, a 500 record since the change on December 27th. Despite losing their last 4 games, Devils 9-9-2 under this new coaching staff.
Kenny, I still think that within the next couple weeks, we could probably see 10, 11, maybe 12 of the players that are playing in this game tonight be moved to different teams.
Right, the trade deadline March 2nd, a number of pending unrestricted free agents on both sides. Jaromir Jagr has talked about the possibility with the Devils on the outside looking in as far as the playoffs are concerned. He said, if something comes up, I figure I'll be traded. What's the reason to keep me in the position we're in now?
Yeah, a lot of that is going to come down to team needs and what they're looking for. If they're looking for speed and pace to a game, Jaromir Jagr's not that player.
Right.
At 43, he's slowed down significantly, but he can still put up some numbers. Not as many goals as a season ago when he scored 24, but there's still something left in the tank, and he continues to want to play.
He said, when I retire, I'll need to keep in shape, so why not continue to play the game I love and do it in front of 20,000 people every night?
Well, if you can do it, it's not a bad job.
No. 7 minutes to go, first period, 1-0 New Jersey as Peter Harold moves the puck ahead for Jordan Tootoo.
Now, Tim Murray is the general manager of Buffalo. And this is a very young team, the Buffalo Sabres. And he stated just a couple of weeks ago, he said, I am not going to let any of my free agents walk. And so that means he's either going to get them signed or he'll trade them. And he's got another 7 or so to deal with.
Chris Stewart with a shot, turned aside by Schneider. Elias flips it to Henrique. Elias met by Weber. Mike Weber, Joe, now the veteran of this Sabres defense corps, age-wise at least.
He's been with the organization for 6 years. He's a hard-nosed, gutsy type player. He's now one of the captains.
Here's Zielinski moving in, and he misses the net to the right. Zidlitzky's been very active in this first period. Yager just off the bench. Down low for Gomez. Henrique with a shot, knocked down and covered by Neuvert. Good opportunities for the Devils. They have a 1-0 lead, just under 6 minutes remaining in the first. Tonight's player profile presented by SAP. Brian Gionta, 1 point shy of 500 in his National Hockey League career. Brother Steven returns to the Devils lineup for the first time since late December. One 1-0 lead for New Jersey. Patrick Elias with the game's first goal. Puck controlled by Adam Larsson. Pushes one towards the net. Deflected by Ruutu, and then he shoots it wide. Yager and Delorier. Puck now carried ahead by Zadorov. Knocked back the other way by Ruutu. A 2-on-0. Gomez for Yager. Back to Gomez. Could not get the shot away. A rare 2 on the goaltender.
I'm not sure Scott Gomez ever thought that he'd get it back.
Right.
I'm not sure he should have. He and Jaromir Jagr, that was just a mistake by Zadorov, the young rookie defenseman who fell down and allowed the 2-on-0.
Gomez, one of the terrific passers in the sport of hockey. Jagr, a great finisher. 716 career goals, Joe. He's one shy of Phil Esposito, who is 5th on the all-time list with 717. Josephson looking to set up Steven Gionta. Now the Sabres regain control with under 5 minutes to play in period 1.
Kenny, the two of them just came back to the bench, and Scott Gomez just patted Jagr on the head, and Jagr, there was no response.
Jagr at 43. Gomez is 35. He won 2 Stanley Cups here in New Jersey. Jagr, a 2-time Stanley Cup champion in Pittsburgh back in the early 90s. Jelena lugs it across. Zajac cutting wide. Out to the point for a waiting Peter Harrell. And then across to Jelena. Big drive, deflected and covered by Neuvert.
That was a shot by Jelena that was a rising shot that actually hit Ellis in front. Now there's the play there. And Jagr got his stick ready to go and actually kind of misfires on the pass. He tried to go back to Gomez, and he kind of goes off the heel of his stick, and Gomez had to reach back for it and just couldn't handle it had he been able to control that puck. As you could see, a wide open net.
Jelena with a shot, deflects to the corner.
Buffalo's losing a lot of these defensive zone face-offs, and that's leading to chances for New Jersey.
Devils out shooting Buffalo 8-5. Devils have been outshot in each of the last 14 games. The last time they outshot an opponent was Buffalo back in early January. Harold's shot blocked in front.
Pardon me, Kenny. That figure, 19 of their last 20, they have been outshot.
They beat the Sabres 4-1 back on January 6th. Elias had 3 points in that game, a goal and 2 assists. And he has opened the scoring here tonight. And now the Sabres will go on the power play as that puck was lifted over the glass by the Devils' Jordan Tootoo.
Yeah, Jordan Tootoo just tried to go off the glass. He was on his backhand and ended up missing the glass. And so the Buffalo Sabres, late in this first period, will get their first power play of the game. Jordan Tootoo has seen his ice time. Here's a look at it again. Had trouble handling it and then over the glass, but he has seen his ice time increase since the coaching change.
Buffalo ranked 30th, last in the league on the power play, but they have scored a power play goal in 3 of their last 4 games. This is Tyler Ennis. Ennis with Stewart and Girgensons, Molson and Bogosian on the points. Ennis with a drive, blocked by Larsson. Comes to Bogosian, green there for the Devils. Now Ennis once again. Molson straight away, near side for Ennis. Getting a stick on it is Larsson. Stewart up the boards for Ennis. Now Stewart once again. Spun down by Green, and the puck winds up in the catching glove of Corey Schneider.
Not many shots, good puck control. Zemgus Girgensons, as we talked about earlier, just a 20-year-old, hard-working young player That's got an extremely bright future. And again, they predict that sometime down the road, he's going to be the captain of this Buffalo Sabres team. Chris Stewart, as we mentioned, number 80, sitting next to him, is a player that'll be an unrestricted free agent. Lots of talk about Chris Stewart being moved if they don't re-sign him.
And Girgensons, Joe, led the NHL in All-Star votes thanks to his fellow countrymen in Latvia.
That's support, isn't it?
So he started the All-Star game last month. What a thrill it was for him. Ristolainen with the puck. Brian Gionta. Sabres on the power play. Flynn out to Ristolainen. Under a minute to go on the 2-2 delay of game minor. Flynn for Gionta. Unable to get the shot away, and it's cleared down ice by Elias.
Everything's to the outside. Now, once in a while, you just have to take the shot. These teams, and the Devils, one of the teams so good at blocking shots and getting in the shooting lanes, that sometimes you just have to make a pass, take a shot, and force the defenders to turn and defend.
Puck deflects in off Zadorov. 20 seconds remaining on the Sabres power play. Zajac with Camilleri. Bogosian is back. Now two other Sabres get back as well. Zajac tied up by Stewart. Bogosian comes in. Penalty time winding down as Stewart plays the puck for Buffalo. Girgensons now 2-2 out of the box. No shots for the Sabres with the advantage. Down to 1:20 on the clock, first period. 2-2 carries ahead. Collision between 2-2 and Tyler Ennis. Just in front of you, Joe.
Tyler Ennis, pretty good hit on Jordan Tootoo, who did not see him coming.
Zidlicky for Gomez. Jagr kicks it out to a stick, shoots, and a stick save by Neuvert. Under a minute to go in the period. Jagr, another shot. Knocked to the near side. Zidlicky holds in at the right point. Puck bounces away from Ruutu out into the neutral zone with 40 seconds remaining. Ruutu has to wait for Jagr to clear the zone. Devils are offside.
Now, Jagr's had a couple of chances in this first period, and they've been because of setups by Scott Gomez. There's another one, and that's real good save by Neuvert, who is going to play the majority of these games for Buffalo. Scott Gomez, his strength skating and passing, and a couple of good setups to Jaromir Jagr, who has failed to score.
Jagr, the Devils' leading scorer this season, 29 points. Down to the final 20 seconds, period one. Puck set ahead by Andy Green, gathered in by Andre Benoit. Shots are 9-5 New Jersey. Down to 7 seconds. So the New Jersey Devils will take a 1-0 lead into the locker room. After 20 minutes, they outshoot the Sabres 9-5. Both teams 0 for 1 on the power play as Brian Gionta and Josephson come together. Stay tuned for the Lexus Intermission Report with Liam McHugh, Mike Bilberry, and Jeremy Roenick. Alex Ovechkin continues his hot streak, and the Devils are playing heads-up hockey. Patrick Elias with the game's first goal. Devils over the Sabres, 1-0. The NHL on NBCSN is brought to you by Booking.com, planet Earth's #1 accommodation site, and by Lexus and their pursuit of perfection. Back in Newark, Devils lead the Sabres 1-0. We go inside the glass, presented by Progressive Insurance with Joe.
Okay, Kenny, thanks very much. We talked at the top of the show about Scott Gomez. And this is what's keeping him in the game and revitalized his career. 35 years old, but look at the explosion, how he can skate the puck out of the zone and then still make the passes and still have the vision. I mean, those are the things that now Scott Gomez has turned into the #1 center iceman here in New Jersey. He's got himself in tremendous physical condition. at the end of last season when he finished with Florida, he went out and had lunch with his good buddy, Scott Stevens, who is now one of the coaches here for New Jersey. And Scott Stevens told him, you know what, I watched you play at the end of the season, and you can still play. And then he talked to a few other friends, and they said the same thing. We watched you play at the end of the year when he was getting 17, 18 minutes a game. They said, you can still play. He then had a lunch with Lou Lamoriello, the general manager. And he said, well, these are the things you have to do. And if you work hard in the off season, in the summer, come in great shape, we'll see if it works. And it has.
He received no promises from the Devils organization. He worked out all summer long with Vladimir Bure, the father of Pavel Bure and Valerie Bure. Got him into the best shape of his career. Went to training camp, Joe, and there was still no spot for him until well into the regular season.
Yeah, December 1st is when he signed his contract. He was working out 6 days a week, twice a day, playing tennis, amongst a few other things. And he said it was the first time in years where he really spent some time on his skating. He's always been a tremendous skater, but he got away from spending the off season working on his skating. So he got back to that with Vladimir. The morning was skating, the afternoon off ice. As we mentioned, some tennis, some other types of activities to get him in the type of condition that he needed to get in. And he was one of the best players in training camp. They just simply didn't have room to sign him because of their salary cap situation.
In October and November, Joe, he kept in shape by skating with Marty Brodeur here in New Jersey. And then Brodeur, of course, signed with St. Louis, subsequently retired, and will be part of the Devils' 1995 Stanley Cup reunion next month. Shots in the first period, 9-5 Devils. They lead 1-0. Girgensons stopped by Schneider. Puck behind the net, played by Chris Stewart. Tied up along the boards by Larson. Elias controls the puck. Takes the return from Green into the Sabres zone. Elias for Henrique. Got a blocker save, and then it's knocked down with a high stick by Green, so the play is blown dead.
Well, that was good pressure by the Buffalo Sabres. This line of Girgensons with Stewart on one side and Ennis on the other. They put some good pressure down, and then the breakout by the Devils, and you see the one shot, and there's Andy Green, the defenseman that joined the rush and gets his stick up high. It went wide, but it was touched by the high stick, which the whistle came, and the face-off outside the Sabres blue line.
We've seen some terrific hand-eye coordination, Joe, from Devils defensemen tonight.
You know what?
Back in the first period.
Both these teams having so much trouble scoring goals that they'll try anything and try and get away with anything at this point.
Right. They are the two lowest scoring teams in the National Hockey League. Sabres have only 98 goals. Devils now with 122. The Sabres have been shut out 9 times this season, and they've been held to just 1 goal in 18 other games. Twice, the Sabres have finished the game with only 10 shots on goal.
It's been a real struggle. I was talking to Teddy Nolan, the head coach of the Buffalo Sabres, about this yesterday, and he said, you know what? He said the first 10 games of the regular season, he said, we did some experimentation. Sam Reinhart, who was their #1 draft pick last summer, they brought him in. They let him play early to see if he could play. A real good young center iceman that'll be part of their future. That didn't really work. He wasn't ready. So they only scored 10 goals in their first 10 games, and then they got on a pretty good run. And they were playing well. They were winning games. Their record was good. And then they went through a whole phase of different injuries, which really set them back, including Brian Giunta, their captain, who's been a real good force for them. But they went through these injuries, and so they're trying to win, trying to let these young players play, and try and rebuild this organization. It's been a tough year.
They lost 14 straight games at one point. Sabres went 0-12 during the month of January. A year ago at this time, Joe, Ted Nolan was the head coach of the Latvian Olympic team in Sochi, and they finished in 8th place, which was well above the expectations. They only lost to Canada by a 2-1 score. Canada would go on and shut out their final 2 opponents after the win over Latvia.
He was actually hired by Pat LaFontaine, who was with the Sabres organization initially. He brought back Ted Nolan. 2 months later, they hired the general manager, Tim Murray. And it'll be interesting to see what the future holds for Ted Nolan.
Now Stewart sends the puck towards the net, gobbled up by Corey Schneider.
Now, we mentioned free agents, and there's one, Chris Stewart, that when you watch him play and you look at what his attributes are, he's big, he's tough, he can fight. He's had seasons where he's scored some goals. He's made some plays. His last 2 or 3 weeks, he's been very good, and he'll be an unrestricted free agent. And there'll be some teams that'll be interested, certainly, in Chris Stewart going down the stretch as they get ready for the playoffs.
Bernier for the Devils sends the puck down. Henrique hit hard by Bogosian, and he's shaken up.
And this will be a penalty. This is a high stick. Henrique's still down on the ice. And so this will put the Devils back on the power play. Their only goal of this game has come on the power play. Bogosian, as we talked about earlier, he's a very physical player and a tremendous skater for a player his size at 6'3" and 225. As Henrique goes straight to the locker room, Bogosian heads to the penalty box. Here's the play again. Here's the argument Bogosian had. It almost looked like Henrique grabbed the stick of Bogosian with his left hand. You see the left hand of Henrique? Grabbed it. That brought it up to his face, and Bogosian was wondering why the call was made against him. He's got a good argument.
High sticking minor at 234. You mentioned the Devils scored on the power play, Joe. It was not initially in the books as a power play goal, but between periods they did change the time of the goal from 6:19 to 6:18, so it was a power play goal scored by Elias. Camilleri shoots the puck in. Camilleri, the Devils' leading goal scorer. This is Shelleneup. Across for a one-timer by Camilleri. He misses the net. Gomez waiting along the left wing boards. Gomez had it picked off by Flynn, and Flynn will softly send the puck down ice with 1:15 remaining on the New Jersey power play.
That's a good job by Flynn. The stick was in the right position in the passing lane, and he made the play and cleared it.
Camilleri cross ice for Elias. Shelleneup over the stick of Camilleri. He regains. Around now for Patrick Elias. Under a minute remaining on the Bogosian minor. Shelleneup for Camilleri. Yager works it back out. Shelleneup with a drive, deflects off the goalpost. Camilleri with the puck. Elias wrapped up by Meszaros. Yager comes in. 3 Sabres in the corner.
That looked like it was Zubras that got a piece of that shot by Jelena, and he's gone months without scoring a goal.
Right. It's been 39 games for Dainis Zubras. Zidlitsky with 22 seconds to go on this New Jersey power play. Elias, Zubras. Back to Patrick Elias, who has the game's only goal. Henrique's shot is blocked by Gionta. Deflects to the netting.
So Henrique made a quick recovery after going down the hallway to the locker room. Here's the shot again. Jelena can really shoot it. And in front, there's Zubras, who gets a piece of it, and then just off the post. Adam Henrique, who initially came up as a center iceman, has been playing mostly on the wing this year and probably will stay there.
Career high 25 goals last season for Henrique.
Now the Devils, we've seen a lot of different line combinations over the last number of games for the Devils. Camilleri, who's been tried at the center ice position, is back on the wing, which is his natural position. So they're trying to construct these lines, and this is Adam Oates, who handles the forwards. He's trying to construct the lines to have speed and some grit on all 4 lines.
Power play has come to an end. Devils now 1 for 2. They had no shots on their second man advantage. Well, Kraft is looking for the most passionate hockey community in America. Nominate your community for a chance to host an NHL preseason game, plus $150,000 in arena upgrades. Nominations now open. Kraft Hockeyville, for the love of hockey. Devils with a 1-0 lead on the Sabres. Girgensons chasing after the puck with Green. Girgensons chips it around for Tyler Ennis. He's bumped by Zajac. Ristolainen keeps it alive for Ennis. Around to the far side, Chris Stewart. Over his stick. Bernier pushed to the boards by Girgensons, and now the Devils gain control. Larson in on the left wing. Backhand shot, gloved by Neuvert. Henrique shoved out of the way by first Girgensons and then Chris Stewart.
You know, Kenny, you mentioned Adam Larson, the former #1 pick of this New Jersey Devils team. And, you know, this is a kid whose development has taken a little bit longer. But in the last couple of months, his game has really improved. He's getting some power play time. He's getting penalty killing time, which is something that he never played. His minutes per game have gone up. You start thinking of all those improvements, and you look behind the bench, you see Scott Stevens and think, boy, oh boy, that's a pretty good guy to learn from, isn't it?
And when we spoke with Lou Lamoriello this morning, he's so excited about this young group of defensemen in front of Cory Schneider. Larson, 22 years of age. Both Merrill and Jelena are 23. Zubris with a turnaround shot, stopped by Neuvert.
And then you've got Damon Severson, who's been out since early December with a broken foot.
Right.
And he's just 19.
An opportunity in front for Ellis, and the save made by Schneider.
Now, this is something that Schneider has provided the Devils all season. When they need a big save, Schneider has made it. His numbers are excellent for a team and for the pressure that he's faced. Stepping into the big shoes, first of all, and here's the chance again. And then just coming over, and Ellis has the chance. There's the good little backhand pass, and you mentioned Ellis has gone a long time without scoring a goal, 50-something, I believe you mentioned, Kenny, and has an excellent chance there, but Schneider comes up with the save.
Right, 54 games to be exact. And how about the hustle, Joe, from Cody Hodgson, who set up Ellis? He eliminated the icing as he beat Merrill to the loose puck.
Now, Cody Hodgson last season was their second leading goal scorer with 20. He's got 2 this year.
Now Benoit with a shot, and that's turned aside by Schneider.
And he's been a healthy scratch a number of times. And again, this is a team that needs some playmaking center icemen.
Ruutu hit by Bogosian. 11 hits by Zach Bogosian in his first game as a Sabre on Sunday, which was a season high for any Sabres player. Nice spin move by Jágr. Into the corner for Ruutu. Good positioning by Bogosian, but then Gomez takes it away. Here's Ruutu in front, hops away from Jágr. 6.5 in, second period. New Jersey Devils with a 1-0 lead on the Buffalo Sabres as both teams make changes.
Well, you see the pressure that Buffalo faces in their own zone. They've had a difficult time this season of getting control of the puck and making one good outlet pass.
Camilleri with a drive, and that's handled by Neuvert. 1-0 Devils. NBC and NBCSN celebrate a full weekend of hockey starting Saturday at 9:30 Eastern when the 2015 Coors Light NHL Stadium Series takes hockey outdoors on NBCSN. And Sunday we go from Philly to Chicago to Minnesota for a hockey day in America on NBC and NBCSN. Here in Newark, 1-0 Devils, shot by Jelena. And the save by Neuvert.
Real good job by Jordan Tootoo off the faceoff, as he comes across and actually uses his foot to kick the puck back to Jelena. Here it is again. Watch him. There he is. Good job with the feet. Turns into a scoring chance.
Shots in the second period are 8-4 in favor of Buffalo. But Cory Schneider has stopped all 13 Sabres shots. Patrick Elias with the game's only goal. Puck sent in deep by the defenseman Zadorov. He's the first one in. Jelena stays with him. Puck chipped out of the zone by Tootoo. Here's Camilleri. Down the right wing. And the save by Neuvert. Tootoo works it back out to Jelena. His shot gets blocked by Delorier, who's slow to get back up on his skates. Delorier and some pain, Joe.
He's trying to hang in there. Delorier is a former defenseman that's been converted to wing.
Zajac across. Puck taken away from Tutu by Foligno. Around for Delorier, who remains on the ice.
Now it's a long change this second period, but he seems like he's feeling a little bit better, and now he's got time for the change, still limping.
Under 12 minutes remaining, second period. Puck carried ahead by John Merrill. Flipped out of play. There's Delorier on the Sabres bench.
He's an interesting player from the standpoint. He's been a defenseman most of his life, and he does a real good job getting in the shooting lane. Even though that was a wrist shot, we talked about Gélina. He's got a tremendously hard shot, and that just catches him in an area where there's not much padding. Did a good job staying in there, and seems to be okay now.
Well, Chris Stewart having words with Steve Bernier. Gergensons and Elias on the draw. Devils control. Puck turned back by Mazzaros. Here's Stewart up the boards for Ennis. Ennis out to the point. Weber with a shot wide to the right. Stewart keeps it alive. Weber for Mazzaros. Away from Ennis. Stewart. Poke checked away by Merrill. Puck came out. Sabres bring it back in offside. Another look, Joe, at Zemgus Girgensons, 21 years of age. Jaromir Jagr had already scored 109 NHL goals the day Girgensons was born.
Well, you've got Ted Nolan, the head coach, says our youthful enthusiasm has got to be good in this game to play against that experienced team. So this Devils team, a much older team. As we talked about, Buffalo is young, and they're relying on Girgensons, and probably some of these young players, Kenny, probably playing a little bit too much. But they want to bring them along quickly and change the fortunes of this franchise.
One name we have not yet mentioned tonight, Joe, is Evander Kane, who recently underwent shoulder surgery, acquired in that deal along with Zach Bogosian from Winnipeg.
Well, he's a player that's got tremendous talent. The question is, will it all come out correctly in Buffalo?
Drew Stafford, Tyler Myers, now members of the Winnipeg Jets. Some young players, draft picks exchanged in the deal as well. Bogosian with a shot through a screen, the save by Schneider.
Schneider was in good position. I don't think he saw it, but he was in good position to make a right leg save.
Puck sent quickly ahead of the right wing for Torrey Mitchell. Now Brian Giunta looks to center off the skate of Andy Green. Ruutu cuts away from Molson. As we approach 10 minutes remaining, second period here in Newark. Devils lead the Sabres 1-0. Gomez cutting wide on Zadorov. Zadorov stays with him. Molson chips it ahead. Played at center by Gélina. Jagr back on the ice for New Jersey. Give and go with Gomez. Gomez with the puck. Stripped by Delorier. Cleared ahead by Foligno for Flynn. Delorier and Harold in the corner. Gélina shouldered by Foligno. Jagr with Gomez. Joined by Ruutu. Gomez with a long shot, did not make it through to Neuvert. And Delorier clears the zone. Schneider moves it up the left wing for Camilleri. Shots are 14-13 in favor of the Devils. Patrick Elias with the game's only goal to this point. Camilleri puts on the brakes off the stick of Jordan Tutu, and the puck is cleared out by Tyler Ennis. Zidlitsky will flip it right back. Mazzaros for Buffalo. Away from Ennis. Back the other way, it's Travis Zajac. And a penalty for slashing Devils to the power play.
seems to be getting a few more shots and scoring chances in this period. What'd you change?
Well, what we changed was our work ethic. We weren't winning any battles. We weren't competing. We weren't working that first period. And it's simple. This is a very simple game if you put some work into it.
Thanks for your time. Good luck.
Ted Nolan Sabres on their second power play. Camilleri in the box for slashing at 11:26. Girgensons with Stewart and Ennis up front. Molson and Bogosian will man the points. Bogosian fakes a shot. Now Girgensons. Down low for Ennis. Back out to Bogosian. Watched by Josephson. Wrist shot deflected in front of him. Girgensons sends it through the crease. Molson keeps it alive. In deep for Girgensons. Up for Ennis. Deflected and the save by Schneider on Stewart.
Real good setup. The initial shot from Bogosian, and then they had to pay a little bit more attention to him, so it left Ennis, who's on the left side. Now here's Bogosian again. Bogosian did not play any power play when he was with Winnipeg, and so he's getting plenty of opportunity to play the power play, kill penalties, play a regular shift here with the Sabres.
Same five remain on the ice for Buffalo. Elias, Zajac, the penalty killing forwards. Good play by Zajac to knock it down into the Buffalo zone. And then he nudges Bogosian to the ice. Girgensons starts ahead with the puck. A minute 10 remaining on the Camilleri minor. Here is Ennis. Shoots just wide. Girgensons for Bogosian. Bogosian with a shot. And now Larson up the boards for Elias, and he clears. Second power play of the game for the Sabres. Both teams make changes.
Yeah, this power play a little bit different than the first one we saw, Kenny, from the standpoint of Buffalo a little bit quicker moving the puck and a little bit more determined to get shots to the net.
Bianca puts on the brakes. Harold stays with him. Zadorov fires, knocked out by the glove of Schneider, and then cleared out by Merrill with 25 seconds remaining on the Buffalo advantage.
The young defenseman Zadorov has scored at least a point in 7 consecutive games.
Zadorov with the puck, number 51, across to Flynn. Cutting wide on Merrill. Shot misses the net high. Foligno works it out to Ristolainen. Penalty time winding down. Foligno holds in for Zadorov. Out of the box, Camilleri. Sabres 0 for 2. They had 3 shots on their second power play of the night. Gianta setting up behind the Devils' goal. Looks to center. Worked out to Ristolainen along the half wall. Knocked to the ice by Ruutu. Josephson ahead for Camilleri. Just over 6 minutes remaining, second period. Sabres 16 shots, Devils have 14. Score remains 1-0 New Jersey. Sabres come out of their own zone. This is Mike Weber. Ristolainen's pass on the left wing, but the Sabres offside. Patrick Elias with the game's only goal. Still 1-0 Devils. Our Wednesday night rivalry matchup features the Red Wings and Blackhawks. Coverage begins with NHL Live at 6:30. Tomorrow, the nightcap, Kings face off against the Avalanche. Thursday, Blue Jackets and Penguins. Coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern with NHL Live. Download the app or watch live online at NBCSports.com/live extra. Kenny Albert, Joe Micheletti from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Devils leading the Sabres 1-0 late second period. Puck carried across by Ruutu. Now Yager comes in to help out. Yager out for Peter Harold. Harold carries to the corner. Now Weber with his long reach behind the Sabres net plays the puck. Ellis ahead for Hodgson.
Real good job by Larson, the youngster, to stay in the shooting lane and now not allow Harold to get the shot.
Jelena back in for Gomez. On the return, Jelena shoots it off the side of the cage. Now Yager throws in front, bounces to Henrique. Puck set out to the right point. Zalitsky holds in.
That was Larson again that did a good job, this time with the block.
That's Johan Larsson of the Sabres. Devils, of course, with a defenseman, Adam Larsson, no relation. Gomez shoots. That's blocked in front by Weber. Comes to Andy Green. Knocked down by the glove of Neuvert. 4.5 to play, second period. As the Sabres, Hodgson is able to clear the zone. Zalitsky quickly ahead. Devils back in. Pass intended for Elias. Broken up by Stewart. Dangerous pass up the middle by Chris Stewart. Kept in the zone by Andy Green. Setting up Elias for a drive and a pad save by Neuvert.
Kenny, that's the type of thing that I was speaking about a little bit earlier, where the Sabres over the course of the season have had difficult times getting the puck out of their own zone. And we've just seen the Devils now with 2 consecutive long shifts, and now they force Buffalo into an icing. And so this is something that Ted Nolan has really tried to work on with his team, is make a first quick pass. They keep it in. That's Andy Green that keeps it in. Then the setup, and Neuvert has to come up with a good save. So that long shift, that group has to stay on the ice for Buffalo.
Devils with Zajac, Camilleri, and Tutu. Camilleri in behind for Zajac. Out in front, Tutu hits the goalpost. Second post hit by the Devils this period.
Now, and that all started with the face-off. Zajac winning the draw against Mitchell.
Now Mitchell fires wide. Ennis back to Mitchell behind the New Jersey goal. Zajac intercepts with 3.5 to play. Second period. Andy Green for Jordan Tutu. Tutu hit off the puck by the much bigger Zach Bogosian. Shots now 16 apiece. Devils lead 1-0. Molson has his shot blocked by Zalitsky. Josephson for John Merrill. Backhanded along by Steven Giunta. And it's covered by Neuvert.
Well, the face-offs, as we mentioned, difficult for Buffalo because they don't have natural center icemen. So Zajac wins this, and then it turns into an opportunity and off the post. So all by winning that face-off turns into another good scoring chance. And then here's Zach Bogosian. We talked about not making a good play out of your own zone. This is what Bogosian can do. Stops, he's cool, he's calm, takes his time, makes that one good pass, and they're out of the zone.
Sabres in the offensive zone. Flynn behind the net for Brian Giunta. Out for a shot by Zadorov. Deflected in front, poked ahead by the goal stick of Snyder, and then gathered in by Steven Giunta. Zubris coming in 1-on-2. Devils make a full change with 2.5 to play, second period. Jágr just off the bench. Around Molson. Jágr, nice move, cuts in front, and then has it knocked off the stick by Brian Giunta. Jelena keeps it alive. Jelena for Jágr. Now Ruutu behind the Buffalo goal. Near side to Scott Gomez. Jelena to Jágr in the slot. Back for Gomez, and now Jágr once again. Ruutu beats Molson to the puck. Ruutu then knocked to the ice by Zadorov. Devils keep it alive. Gomez feeds the right point, Harold. Then Jelena. Wrist shot. Save made by Neuvert. Kept alive by Ruutu for Jágr, and a glove save by Neuvert with 1:43 remaining in the period as Ristolainen is involved in some extracurricular activity.
Well, this was another shift by the New Jersey Devils where they just sustained the pressure. By the end of this, the Buffalo players on the ice could hardly skate. Jágr doesn't have great speed anymore, but he still has size and strength and hands. Makes that good play on Flynn, and then gets some help. Real good defensive play by the captain, Brian Giunta, coming back. But that's 3 or 4 shifts now for the Devils in the last couple of minutes where they've been able to sustain that type of offensive zone pressure.
Face off to the right of the Buffalo goal. Devils win another draw. Green shot blocked in front by Foligno. Foligno dives, attempts to clear. And now he does. Bernier and Foligno. Delorier now for the Sabres. In deep, Foligno, angled off by Green. Devils now out shooting the Sabres 18-16. Patrick Elias with a power play goal at 6:18 of period 1. One minute remaining, second period. Henrique flips the puck down into the Sabres' end. Bogosian racing back along with 2-2. Bogosian for Ennis. 2-2 finishes his check on Bogosian. Puck deflects out to center. Over the stick of Girgensons. Now he gets it back from Ennis. Girgensons to the net, and Schneider kicked out his left pad to make the stop. 35 seconds remaining. This is Ennis looking for Stewart in front. Picked off by Zidlitsky. Zajac able to clear out over the stick of Zemgus Girgensons.
That's a beautiful little pass from Ennis, who was getting some pressure from behind by 2-2 and still found Girgensons breaking to the net.
The final 15 seconds. Stewart looks to center off the back of the cage. Zajac drops it off for Zidlitsky with 5 seconds. Second period comes to an end. No scoring in the second. Sabres had 12 shots. Devils with 9. Only goal of the game scored by Patrick Elias of New Jersey back in the first. Stay tuned for the Discover Card intermission report with Liam, Mike, and JR. Things getting chippy between the Penguins and the Caps, and the Flyers with a second period surge. Here in Newark, 40 minutes in the books. 1-0 New Jersey over Buffalo. The NHL on NBCSN is brought to you by the Discover It Card. It's a game changer. Frost Brewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. And by SAP, the world's best companies run simple with SAP. Back in Newark, New Jersey, Kenny Albert, Joe Micheletti. We start the third period. Devils lead the Sabres 1-0. Shots 18-17, New Jersey. Schneider to our left, Neuvert to our right. Sabres start with Mitchell, Molson, and Giunta. Zajac, Camilleri, 2-2 for the Devils. Giunta poking away at the puck, and the play is blown dead.
Yeah, it's good work. Now, I'm talking to Ted Nolan about Brian Giunta. When the Buffalo Sabres went through that 0-12 stretch, which was the month of January, that man right there, their captain, was not in the lineup. And Ted Nolan said, you know what, we just didn't have somebody of his stature to settle everything down during the course of the game when things weren't going well. But he said when he is healthy and in the lineup, he's really been tremendous for these young players.
Spent the last 5 seasons in Montreal. After 7 years there in New Jersey. Face-off coming back into the Devils zone. Devils must leave the same 5 on the ice. Sabres send out Girgensons with Ennis and Stewart.
And Giunta was saying before the game on the pregame show, talking about playing against his brother and how proud he was of his brother, how he likes playing against him. And again, they almost, at least they talked about ending up on the same team.
Sabres, Joe, tie the score. Tyler Ennis, just 27 seconds in to the third period, beats Corey Schneider.
Yeah, this has been their best offensive line. And Tyler Ennis, not real big in stature, but boy, he's got talent and he's got hands. And right off the face-off, Buffalo's actually done a good job on face-offs in this game. They've lost some key ones, but right there, he just darts in. It actually looked like Zajac won the face-off behind him. And look at 63, work his way in, be the first to the puck, and that quick release beats Schneider to tie the game at 1.
14th of the season for Ennis. Matches Girgensons for the team lead. So the Sabres finally solved Schneider on their 18th shot. Sabres were able to send that fresh line out, Joe, following the icing call, and they capitalized.
Yeah, good point, Kenny. Devils had to keep their group on the ice. And again, that is the line that's been the best for the Sabres.
Gianto with a drive, misses the net to the right. Ristolainen shoots, saved by Schneider. Henrique knocks it ahead for Elias, and he clears to Bernier. 4 Sabres back. Devils in the midst of a change. Just over 1 minute gone by, third period. Sabres have tied the game at 1 as Neuvirth gloves the Bernier attempt.
Yeah, that line has had the most chances for Buffalo in this game, as they have in most games. Here's a chance there in front. Stewart with a good redirection on the attempt. Nice little give and go here. Girgensons has a chance. Schneider stops that one as well. And then to start this period, they had some pretty good scoring chances in that second period, and Mike and JR were talking about it. And Schneider, how good he was in the period, but Ellis with the play there ties the game.
14th for Ennis Girgensons, the assist, 27 seconds in. Bogosian takes a hard hit from Ruutu, allowing Gomez to shoot, sticked aside by Neuvirth. Coming out of the corner is Ruutu, and now a penalty will be assessed, and it will be against Buffalo.
Ruutu, I believe, was hit with a high stick. I believe it's going to be Benoit. We'll see as they sort this out. They're checking out Ruutu to see if he has any blood as he comes to the bench. Doesn't look like it. And there's Benoit, who had already come to the Sabres bench. And here's the play here. Benoit just reaches up, and there it is. No question on the call. And so the Devils have their only goal on the power play. They'll get a chance here early in the third.
New Jersey 1 for 2. Benoit for high sticking at 1:44. Zajac, Henrique, 2-2 up front with Zidlitsky and Elias. 1-1 game, early third period. Ryan Gianto with the puck for the Sabres, and he clears it the length of the ice. So the Devils will set up on their third power play in a 1-1 game. Zajac shoots in, winds around. Weber and Henrique. Elias in as well. Puck pinned by Mike Weber. Now Bogosian able to clear.
It's a good job by Buffalo. They had 3 men with pressure on the puck and were able to get it and clear it.
Elias out for Zidlitsky, and the save by Neuvirth.
Now Zidlitsky at his age, Kenny, still has some offensive ability to his game. The question is, if Lou Lamoriello asks him to waive his no trade, which he has a complete no trade and he'll be an unrestricted free agent, the question is, will he? Right-handed shooting defenseman. It's a coveted position in the National Hockey League, and I would think there'd be interest in Zidlitsky.
Trade deadline 13 days from now, March 2nd. Shot by Jelena, good save by Neuvirth. Camilleri with the puck for Gomez. And now Bernier. 4 forwards on the ice, plus Jelena for the Devils. Gomez looking off the skate of the defenseman Mazaros. Now Gomez in front. Yager fires wide. And then Camilleri's pass picked off by Flynn. 2 Devils back with 40 seconds remaining on the Benoit penalty.
Oh, another beautiful pass by Scott Gomez onto the stick of Yager. Yager let it go quickly, but just missed on the far side.
Camilleri's pass too far for Bernier. Bogosian with the puck. He's been a presence out there tonight, Joe.
He's played well. You know what's so impressive about him? When he gets the puck in the defensive zone, he'll hold on to try and make a play.
Devils keep it in the zone. Gomez for Bernier. Yager cutting to the net. Ryan Gianto takes it away from Gomez. So that will do it for the Devils' third power play. As Benoit makes his return, 2 New Jersey shots with the man advantage. Now Neuvirth gloves the Adam Larson wrister. Let's take a look at our RoboCam presented by Advanced Auto Parts.
Yeah, the power play set up. There's the shot by Jelena. Real good save by Neuvirth. Picked it up late, and then Yager with another chance. Set up by Gomez. That one just missed the far post.
Sabres back to full and equal strength. 1-1 game. 4 minutes in, third period. Josephson tied up by Hodgson. Puck kept alive by Steven Giunta. Patrick Elias scored for the Devils on the power play in the first period. Tyler Ennis off a face-off win by Girgensons early in the third. Good play by Delorier. Giunta winds it around for Andy Green. Josephson sends in deep. Neuvirth for Hodgson. Hodgson unable to clear. Good play along the wall by Steve Bernier, the ex-Sabre, who has scored 7 goals in the last 12 New Jersey Devils games.
Lou Lamoriello talking about confidence that some of his players have now, and that's been the story with Bernier. He's getting power play time. He's handling the puck and making plays, and obviously on a goal-scoring streak.
Henrique taken to the boards by Zadorov. Girgensons on the puck. And now Ennis, who has the Buffalo goal. Ennis across. Girgensons took a high stick from Elias. Delayed penalty. Saved by Schneider on Girgensons. Sabres will go on their third man advantage.
Patrick Elias, who got called for the penalty, really yapping at Girgensons. He doesn't like the call, still going. But that was a good rush by Buffalo. They had 4 players up on the rush. Girgensons was on the far side. Here comes the pass all the way across. Well, there's no question about the high stick. You can see the helmet pop up. I'm not sure what Elias was upset about. But there's no question he took the penalty, and that gives Buffalo a chance in this 1-1 game.
For Patrick Elias, Joe, his second minor penalty of the season.
Maybe that's what he's upset about.
He had 2 minutes in penalties coming into this game over the first 46. So there go his Lady Byng chances.
Well, not yet.
Elias for high sticking. 5:06 the time. Sabres with 3 shots over their first 2 power play attempts. Lead pass too far for Flynn. Now Flynn drops it off for Giunta. And then Ristolainen. Zadorov with the puck. Marcus Foligno. Flynn chipped away by Zajac. Josephson. Ristolainen gets back. Josephson with a shot and a blocker save by Neuvirth. Puck kept alive by Zajac on the penalty kill.
Now you're looking at a big part of the Buffalo future on defense right now. A 19 and 20-year-old out on this power play. Zadorov and Ristolainen.
Both first-round draft picks in 2013. 51 Zadorov, 55 Ristolainen.
Zadorov didn't play the early part of the season because he showed up at training camp not in the type of physical condition they wanted him to be in. So they worked on that part of his game and made a big improvement over the course of the season.
Played well as of late. Joe, you mentioned the 7-game point streak for Zadorov. Here is Ennis with a shot. Long rebound after the Schneider save. Good play by Merrill. And he clears the length of the ice with 25 seconds remaining on the man advantage for the Sabres. Ennis down the left wing. Cutting wide on Larson. Sends the puck around. Stewart knocks it back to the point. Bogosian shot blocked in front by Green. Joe, Lou Lamoriello told us, in his opinion, Andy Green is the most underrated defenseman in the entire National Hockey League.
Yeah, you know what? The people around New Jersey have been saying that for years about Andy Green and his ability to defend. He handles the puck well. He makes a good first pass. And I think he's a big reason why Adam Larson has also improved, being his partner.
Penalty has expired. Green playing in his 204th consecutive game for the Devils here tonight. Peter Harold with the puck, 12.5 remaining. Sabres now 0 for 3 on the power play. Devils have Ruutu, Gomez, Jagr on the ice. Puck kept away from Hodgson by Harold. Nazaros for the Sabres. Jagr first one to it. Sweeps one towards the net, blocked off by Weber. 3-on-2 for the Sabres. Hodgson with Giunta cutting for the net. And the shot is gobbled up by Corey Schneider. 12:03 on the clock. Third period. Tied at 1. Watch the NHL on NBC Live on your laptop, tablet, or smartphone with NBC Sports Live Extra. Download the app or go to NBC Sports/Live Extra and watch the biggest events anywhere, anytime. Buffalo Sabres assistant coach Brian Trottier, Joe, a 7-time Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah.
6 as a player, 4 with the Islanders, 2 with the Penguins, and then 1 as an assistant coach in Colorado.
And a Hall of Famer, Kenny, and he told us before the game in talking about this team, he said, you know what? He said, we're not where we need to be yet as a team. But he says, the one thing we'll do is we'll work. We'll go out there, we'll try, and we'll keep trying, and that's what we've seen in this game.
Sabres trailed 1-0 early, tied the score here in the third period. Good work by Marcus Foligno along the boards. Puck kept in by Bogosian, and now carried out by Zajac. 2-2, back for Zidlitsky. Camilleri's pass blocked off by Bogosian.
Boy, Bogosian's been active. Real good job of standing up here at the red line, forcing the play back.
Excited to be in Buffalo, grew up in upstate New York. His father, Joe, was a football player at Syracuse University.
Right. And his uncle as well.
Right. They played together back in the late 70s, early 80s at Syracuse.
His uncle actually lives in Buffalo, so he is really thrilled. He's been talking for years since Zach has been in the league about maybe someday playing for the Sabres.
Started his career in Atlanta, then the Thrashers moved to Winnipeg after his first 3 seasons with the franchise. Henrique puts on the brake, sets up Bernier for a shot, turned aside by Neuvert. Puck played behind the net by Ristolainen. Ahead for Ennis, who has the Buffalo goal. Flips high in the air, Stewart waiting. And now it is Larson for New Jersey. Ahead to Henrique, and then Gomez. Gomez dropping it off for Larson. Larson's shot, loose in front. Couple of chances for the Devils. Finally, the play blown dead.
All right, Scott Gomez had a couple of chances at that. He led the rush with his speed, and then once he got inside the blue line, just a little drop pass, and he went right to the net. And Adam Larsson, the defenseman, read it, moved up. Here's Larsson, left side of your screen. He'll just throw it at the net, and there's Gomez. Once, twice, one more time. Real good job of goaltending by Neuvert. Gets bumped into, keeps his concentration, keeps his eye on the puck. Oh, those are good saves.
Neuvert has stopped the last 22 New Jersey Devils shots.
Yeah, Kenny, the only goal that the Devils scored on him, he had no chance.
Right. On the deflection by Elias. Neuvert has lost his last 10 decisions, his last win, all the way back in mid-November, November the 15th, against the Maple Leafs. Last week, the Sabres traded Jonas Enroth, who has played in 37 games for Buffalo. Enroth to Dallas in exchange for Anders Lindback, who is backing up Neuvert. Puck deflects out of play. 9:49 remaining. Third period here in Newark. Devils and Sabres deadlocked at 1. Wednesday night rivalry is on NBCSN. Pavel Datsyuk and the Red Wings take on Patrick Kane and the Blackhawks. Red Wings Blackhawks coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern. Wednesday night rivalry, the night you love to hate. Center ice face-off. Under 10 minutes to play, third period. Kenny Albert, Joe Micheletti from Prudential Center in Newark. Devils, Sabres tied at 1. Shots now 26-22 New Jersey. Josephson out to the point for Harrell. Hodgson cutting back. And now it is Bogosian. Playing in his second game with the Sabres. Pass too far for Flynn. Harrell up the right side. And knocked into the Sabres end by Zubris. Bogosian taken down by Steven Gionta. 9 minutes remaining. Puck chased back in the Devil zone by Andy Green. Camilleri unable to enter the zone. Now Zajac. Dropping it off for Larson. Larson fires, and that deflects over the net. Puck comes to Green. Mazaros and 2-2 battle. Now Girgensons knocks it ahead for Stewart, and he clears.
Well, that's the thing about this New Jersey team. They have trouble scoring goals, but the defensive system that's been in place at this organization for years remains intact.
3 Stanley Cups, 95, 2000, 2003. Elias with a shot, and that's turned aside by Neuvert. And the 3 numbers retired here in New Jersey, Joe, all defensemen. Niedermeyer, Danico, Stevens.
That was quite the group for a long, long period of time.
Zidlichky's shot deflects wide. And of course, number 30 will be hanging in the rafters at some point in the near future. Patrick Elias, who has the Devils goal. Backhands along. 7.5 to play. Third period.
And you know, Kenny, it should, right? I mean, it has to be. It's a little strange to see him retire as a St. Louis Blue.
But Marty Brodeur, as we mentioned, will be back when the Devils honor their 95 Stanley Cup team next month. Zidlichky winds and fires. And Lou Lamoriello, Joe, has acknowledged that the number will be retired at some point, so that is not in question. Gomez back in. Route 2. In behind the net. Jágr angled off by Bogosian. Gomez keeps it alive. Out for Harold. Harold with a wrist shot deflected by Jágr. Jelena from the left point. Wrist shot. Smothered by Neuvert.
Good job by Bogosian. Yeah, we talked about his ability to hold on to the puck and make plays, but he was out there against Jaromir Jágr and his size at 245 pounds and trying to defend right in front of the net. There's a deflection. Good save after Jágr got a piece of that. Well, he's played hard, Zach Bogosian. Really played hard in this game, and we've referenced his 11 hits in the first game that he played as a Sabre.
He's played nearly 22 minutes tonight. Zajac with a centering pass. Camilleri looking for 2-2. He had a stick knocked out of his hands by Mazaros. And now Stewart back into the Devil zone. Chris Stewart down the left wing. Backhand shot. Misses the net to the right. Camilleri then gives it away to Ennis. Stewart on the give and go. Ennis coming out of the corner. Out to Mazaros. Fanned on the shot. Zajac into the Sabres end. Cross ice for Camilleri. He shoots, and that one is blocked by Weber, who remains down on all fours. Now back up on his skates.
He got over to Camilleri, and it looked like he was able to get a stick on the shot.
Well, Weber off to the Sabres bench. Just under 6 minutes remaining in regulation.
Buffalo's the 30th place team in the league, but they continue to play hard. How about Mike Weber? We talked about him. He goes down to block the shot. You know why he was slow to get up? This shot by Mike Camilleri right off the head. How about that effort? He just turns his head at the last minute. He was still shaken up on the play, but made it to the bench on his own power.
Weber, Joe, a Pittsburgh native. He was a big fan of Jaromir Jágr on the Penguins as a youngster growing up in Pittsburgh. 2 seasons ago, he played in his 200th game. It was acknowledged on the scoreboard in Buffalo. Jágr was on the ice at the time. He turned to him and said, "Wow, Webby, 200 games. That's a lot of games."
He's a hard-nosed kid. In fact, when he got to the bench, and then he went back to the Buffalo locker room after taking that shot.
And Jágr, we should point out, playing in his 1,526th game here tonight. Battle for the puck. Corner to the left of Corey Schneider in a 1-1 game. 5:15 remaining, third period. Zubris chips it out. Deflects into the New Jersey Devils bench. How about Tynas Zubris, Joe? Came into the league as an 18-year-old with Philadelphia. He's now 36. He's played in the NHL for half of his life.
Lou Lamoriello was talking about him this morning. He said, you know what, he's been a versatile player for us. It's not always fair that we move him around to different situations. Those numbers, he's had a tough year. Well, this, as we mentioned, this Devils team has really had a difficult time scoring. And Dinas Zubris has been in the middle of that.
Good to see Mike Weber back on the ice. Took that shot off high moments ago. No surprise that it is a 1-1 game. Two lowest scoring teams in the National Hockey League. Gomez looks to come out in front. Molson ahead for Brian Gionta. Gomez got the stick in before Molson could play the puck. Now Molson shoots in right side of Corey Schneider. Both teams make changes with 4:20 remaining. Elias with the New Jersey goal on the power play in the first period. Ennis for Buffalo early in the third. Puck deflects over the glass behind the Sabres bench.
Now, we talked about Schneider and how well he's played, but how about Michael Neuvirth? You mentioned the length of time it's been since he's won a game. He has been solid in this game. He has had to stop some point-blank shots, some deflections, some rebound opportunities. That was Gomez that had 3 chances at that one. And Michael Neuvirth, who will be an unrestricted free agent at the end of this season, has had a real strong game. He's got an awful lot to play for.
He spent 6 years in Washington. His second season as a member of the Buffalo Sabres. Both Sabre goaltenders, Neuvirth and Lindback, will be unrestricted free agents following the season. Adam Henrique with Elias and Bernier. Benoit back for the Sabres. Under 4 minutes to play. Ennis for Bogosian. Bogosian backhands in. Girgensons and Green. Ennis with the puck. Out to the right point, Bogosian. Big drive kicked out by the right pad of Schneider. And then Zajac with the lead pass for Henrique. On a breakaway. He deeps. And the stick save by Neuvirth. But a penalty shot will be awarded to Henrique.
Now, this all starts with a save, and it was Bogosian that got the shot that Schneider stopped with the right pad, and then it was Bogosian who tried to get back in the play and ended up taking down Henrique. Here comes Bogosian. Henrique, Bogosian from behind, no question on the penalty shot. As he's taken down, still gets a shot, but with 3:27 to go, what an opportunity for the Devils.
Neuvirth has faced 1 penalty shot this season. Back in October, he allowed a goal to the Dutch, Ryan Kessler. First penalty shot for New Jersey. Shooters in the league this season are 8 of 27. Adam Henrique moving in on Neuvirth. And the score remains 1-1 with 3:27 remaining.
Yeah, Neuvirth on this play, he's going to get a little tap in the pads from Bogosian. But Neuvirth did not make the first move. He was calm, steady, and he waited for Henrique to make a move. You just watch Neuvirth, how he hardly moves on the play. Steady, 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 and then right at the end, stays with Henrique all the way. That's real solid goaltending by Neuvirth.
Neuvirth, Joe, has now stopped the last 26 Devils shots. Camilleri with the puck.
Yeah, the only goal was that deflection that would have been wide of the net.
Now Merrill with a shot. Glove save by Neuvirth.
And a good job in front. Again, this time it's Weber. Physically in front, getting Jordan Tootoo out of the way so that Neuvirth had a chance to see that shot and made an easy save. Here's the play again. Weber, number 6, sees Tootoo. Look at the body position. Keeps him to the outside. Here comes the shot. Easy save for the goaltender.
Face-off control by the Sabres with just over 3 minutes remaining. Long pass from Molson to Gionta. Backhands in deep. Torrey Mitchell for the Sabres. For Brian Gionta in front, but could not connect with Molson. Now Bogosian fires. Puck deflects to the corner. And Gomez clears out.
Boy, what a chance for Molson. He hasn't had many chances And he is a player that's a good goal scorer from around the front of the net. When he gets a centerman that can get him the puck, his goal scoring totals will return.
Had some big years playing with John Tavares on Long Island. We mentioned earlier, only one goal for Molson the last 22 games. Now Gomez. This is Ruutu. Ruutu looked to get it across to Elias. Broken up. Here comes Stewart. Pass too far for Giunta. Adam Larson for New Jersey. Elias with the pass. Blocked off by Ennis. Now Henrique. Behind Elias. Chris Stewart for the Sabres. 2 minutes remaining in regulation. Tied at 1 here in Newark. Bernier behind the Sabres net. Out in front. And now it's Weber quickly ahead for Ennis. Ennis to Stewart. Chris Stewart looking for the cutting Bogosian. Puck deflects to the near side. Stewart and Larson. And Adam Larson comes away with the puck.
Now, Chris Stewart actually made a real good play to Bogosian moving in on the rush, and Bogosian just couldn't handle the pass.
Zajac for 2-2. Knocked off his stick. A minute 25 to play. Here comes Flynn down the right side. Winds the puck around. Benoit chasing with 2-2. Now Zajac for the Devils to Camilleri. 2-2 in a race for the puck with Benoit. Harold. Camilleri. 1 minute remaining third period. Jelena has that shot blocked by Foligno, who lost his glove.
It hit him in the hand. That's why he lost the glove, Kenny. Remember, Foligno's a player that just came back from a broken hand.
Camilleri spins, looks to get the backhand shot away. It's blocked by Weber. Down to 40 seconds remaining in regulation.
Foligno's in all kinds of pain just to my left on the bench.
Shot by Brian Giunta, blocked by Green. Out in front, looking for Molson, was Mitchell. Now Molson works it out to Meszaros, right point. In deep for Mitchell. Spun around by Zubris. Down to 20 seconds. 2 Sabres, 2 Devils. Now Meszaros back down low for Molson. 10 seconds remaining. Meszaros cuts to the circle. Out in front, picked off by Steven Giunta as time winds down. And we are headed for overtime here in Newark. Tyler Ennis tied the score for the Sabres early in the third, and then Neuvert stopped a Henrique penalty shot attempt. Sudden death when we return. We head to overtime here in Newark. New Jersey Devils on the power play. First period, the deflection by Patrick Elias, his 9th of the season, and off a face-off early third. It is Tyler Ennis who ties the game at 1, his 14th of the year. Late third period, Adam Henrique of the Devils stopped on a penalty shot by Michael Neuvert. Corey Schneider with 22 saves for the Devils. So we head to a 5-minute sudden death overtime. Each team with 1 overtime win this season. Zadorov has the overtime goal for the Sabres. There's Patrick Elias, who has 16 career overtime goals. That is second all time since regular season overtime was instituted. The only player with more is his teammate, Jaromir Jagr, the all-time leader with 19 regular season OT goals, including 1 this year.
Offense for both teams to start this overtime.
Girgensons with Ennis. For the Sabres, they combine on the Buffalo goal. Elias and Henrique for the Devils. Bogosian leading the rush. 4-on-4 hockey. Puck played by Girgensons. Into the corner, Bogosian. Swings it in front, picked off by Elias, who knocks it into the corner for Andy Green. Shots through regulation. 31 for the Devils. Sabres with 23. Bogosian for Girgensons. Turns and shoots wide. Benoit keeps it in the New Jersey zone for Ennis. Tyler Ennis, who has the Sabres goal. Ennis, stick handling, watched by Green. Backs it up. Pass picked off by Larson. Henrique for Elias. Blocked off by Girgensons. Here comes Ennis. Ennis cutting wide on Larson. Ennis across. Pizarros with the shot. He misses the net high. Ennis keeps it alive. He's been on the ice for 1:10 here in overtime. Now heads to the bench. Larson plays the puck for New Jersey.
And he was energetic. Boy, he was jumping with the puck.
Camilleri and Gomez, the Devils forwards. Camilleri fakes a shot, cuts to the inside. Gomez and Pizarros in the near corner. Camilleri works it out to Merrill on the left point. Across to the right side, Zidlitsky. Nice play in front by Weber. And now Giunta carries out. Weber sends in deep. 3:15 remaining in sudden death overtime. Devils Sabres tied at 1. Zajac with Camilleri. Merrill joins the play. Zajac with a shot. Stick save by Neuvert. Zajac on it again. Out for Jágr just off the bench. Jágr hit by Bogosian. Keeps the puck alive. Carries out towards the blue line. Across for a shot by Jelena. Knocked down by Neuvert. Flynn picks up the puck for Buffalo. 2-on-2 with Stewart. Flynn watched by Zidlitsky. To Pizarros. And a save by Schneider.
Now, neither team has had a great scoring chance here in the overtime. Here's the last opportunity. Flynn just turning, looking for someone. And eventually Pizarros will just take the quick shot right here. A little bit of a screen, but Schneider no problem with the shot.
Devils 2 shots in overtime. Sabres have 1. Henrique and Foligno on the draw. Good to see Marcus Foligno back on the ice, Joe.
Yeah, he took that hard slap shot in the hand, was in a lot of pain, went to the locker room, and now back playing.
Peter Harold flips the puck ahead. Pizarros hit hard by Steven Giunta. Andy Green intercepts to Adam Henrique. Now the save by Neuvert.
Yeah, this was a turnover by the Sabres in their own zone. Time to make a play. Goes right to the middle, and Henrique ends up with it. Weber with the turnover. Henrique with the shot. Neuvert again. Well, these two teams, Kenny, we talked about, they're low-scoring teams, but these goaltenders have really played well, both sides.
Face off to the right of Neuvert. Josephson and Girgensons. Devils control. Now Benoit on the puck for the Sabres. Under 2 minutes remaining in overtime. If neither team scores, we will head to a shootout.
Oh, and this guy with the puck right now, I think, is the player to watch on the ice. He's got a lot of jump, still plenty of energy as we're in overtime. Tyler Ennis.
Here he comes. He has the Sabres' lone goal tonight. Down low for Bogosian. Through the crease. He was looking to set up Girgensons. Girgensons shot deflects off Larson. That was close. Down to 1:20 remaining in overtime. Devils, Sabres tied at 1. Larson watched by the forechecking Giunta. Scott Gomez with the puck. And across the line. Drops it off for Camilleri. Shoots. Saved by Neuvert.
Camilleri with some speed. Again, they've been moving Camilleri around. Back tonight on his most comfortable position, which is wing, and he and Gomez. Gomez again with the speed to back everyone off. And Camilleri reads that, just falls back. And then just prior to that, there's a shot that you mentioned, Kenny, the deflection that goes just wide.
1:04 to play in overtime.
Last one to play in overtime.
Flynn works the puck free. Now Zidlitsky for New Jersey. Jelena into the Sabres zone. Puck deflects away. Stewart chasing after it. Zidlicky racing back. 2-on-1. Stewart and Flynn. Stewart shoots. And the save with the right arm by Schneider. Sabres keep it alive. Flynn behind the net. Now Camilleri racing after the puck with a half minute remaining. He has Gomez on his left. Camilleri holds. Now to the trailer. Zidlicky shoots. And the save by Neuvert. Jelena has his shot blocked. Another opportunity. Puck winds up behind the net. Gomez on it there. Out for Jelena. Tied up by Stewart. And a penalty. It will go against the Sabres with 12.9 seconds remaining in overtime. Jelena was hooked by Chris Stewart.
And again, Neuvert made some good, real good saves. But I think Flynn's 65 stops one right there. The opportunity by Jelena with Neuvert down on the ice. Flynn gets over, really makes a good play. And then there's the penalty on Stewart for hooking with just under 13 seconds remaining. Boy, what a play. A couple of big saves by Neuvert, and then Flynn going down to block one as well. And we'll have a timeout. The Devils have taken their timeout. Adam Oates is with his power play group, explaining a play with not much time to try and get a shot. The faceoff will come down to the right of Neuvert, the goaltender, and there's the Hall of Famer Adam Oates. Such a bright mind for the offensive side of the game.
Now, Joe, they have added some time onto the clock. 15.9 seconds, so they have added 4 seconds. Devils will have a face-off in the offensive zone.
As I mentioned, the penalty killing for Buffalo has struggled this year because they have trouble winning face-offs. Again, their center icemen are not natural center icemen. So this will be a critical play. They've done a good job in this game, but this will be critical. Zajac will be out to try and win the face-off, and now Buffalo has used their timeout, so they'll get a chance to talk things over. And Adam Oates gets to finish what he was saying.
May as well use the timeouts here. You only get one. 15.9 seconds remaining in overtime. Devils will have a power play. Chris Stewart off for hooking Jelena at 4:44 of overtime. Michael Neuvert has stopped the last 31 Devils shots, including an Adam Henrique penalty shot attempt late in the third period. Devils will send out Camilleri, Zajac, and Elias, 3 forwards plus Jelena. It will be Girgensons, Weber, and Bogosian for the Sabres.
Yeah, and right behind him. Here's the shot.
Jelena had it knocked away by Bogosian. 10 seconds remaining. Jelena, wrist shot save, and the puck is cleared out by the Sabres. Down to 5 seconds. Good work by Bogosian, and we are headed for a shootout here in Newark. Devils 4 shots in overtime. Sabres had 2. Sabres kill off that brief power play at the end of overtime. So a shootout upcoming with the Devils and Sabres tied at 1.
And Zajac actually won the face-off. Was just off to the side. Jelena had to retrieve it, take it back, and Neuvert makes one more last save. Was able to see that before the Sabres able to clear it. And now the goaltenders will be front and center.
A look at Neuvert's career numbers in shootouts. Has stopped 3 of 6 shots this season. Schneider this season has allowed 4 goals on 13 shots. The Devils, who went 0-13 in shootouts last season, have won 3 of 9 this year. Scott Gomez, first shooter for New Jersey, moving in on Neuvert. He deeks and scores!
That was about 6 moves, and he freezes Neuvert. What a couple of moves. Fake the shot, couple of shoulder fakes, and then tucks it in.
The Sabres have won 6 of 7 shootouts this season. Here comes Matt Molson. Schneider puts down the angle, and Molson misses the net.
He was able to elevate the puck as he got Schneider to go down. There was some room on the top side, but it just went wide. Here it is again. On the backhand, he had some room over the glove and just missed.
Jacob Josephson, 2 of 5 this season. Devils have a 1-0 lead in the shootout. Josephson moving in on Neuvert. He scores!
Quick hands by Josephson. Little fake on the forehand side. And then watch how quickly he gets it to his backhand and in the net. Boom, right there. Beautiful move.
Tyler Ennis must score to keep the Sabres alive. He's 3 of 6 this season. He has the only Buffalo goal tonight. Schneider cuts down the angle, and Ennis is stopped. The New Jersey Devils defeat the Buffalo Sabres, scoring twice in the shootout. Goals from Scott Gomez and Jacob Josephson. Devils end their 4-game losing streak. They defeat the Sabres 2-1. Devils celebrate. Sabres now 2-18-1 over their last 21 games. Joe Micheletti will have an interview in a moment. First, we check in with Liam.